Good morning, everybody. This is Lisa in Connecticut. I hope you're all having a good day. I want to show you this little gadget, and it's going to be, well, I guess sort of an experiment I'm doing. So this is something I picked up on clearance, really cheap, and what it is intended to be as a classroom teaching aid. There's 3 compartments separated. There is a base, which isn't on it right now. On the top, there's holes for breathing, and it actually came with 3 individual thermometers, one that you can put into each section. And the purpose of this gadget is to, say in a classroom environment, teach about composting. This wasn't designed for worms. To put in, say, an apple in one, they showed putting a piece of concrete in another one, and a piece of metal or something, like to teach younger children how some things can decompose and break down and how some things are just forever and they're really bad for the environment. Now, what I did, if you can see, I melted holes through the chambers. I heated up something and just melted a bunch of holes. And what my plan is, I'm using this for worms, and I filled this one small compartment over here about 4 days ago. I wanted to give it an opportunity to sit to see what was going to happen before I actually showed it to anybody else. So what I did is I put some decaying wood, some leaves, a little bit of spinach, I think some dried grass, basic browns and greens, and I put about 100 very small hatchling Indian blue worms in here. And I only filled the one bin. And so far, oh, and there's a little magnifying section. You can see the scratch. Unfortunately, when I melted the holes through, it left it sharp on one side, the plastic. So I took my sanding block and went in to sand it smooth so the worms wouldn't cut themselves, and I scratched the magnifier. No big deal, I guess. It's better than the worms cutting themselves in half. So I filled one section, and what my intentions are is to turn this into a little horizontal mini vermicompost container. I'm going to let them eat everything that's in here down to, pretty much gone, and then I'm going to fill the middle compartment, and they will go through the holes that I've drilled in. It's hard to see through the magnifier, but there's holes in both of the chambers. They'll move into the next one once it has food, and by the time they're into the third side here, the first side should be absolutely completely done. And I started with newborn hatchling Indian blue worms. I thought those would be the most adaptable, and they seem to be more tolerant of conditions. Their stomach seems to override every other feature. So for food, I think they'll do okay. I mean, it's clear on all sides. They're in full light at all times. And, there's a lot of worms that just wouldn't do okay. My initial fear upon setup was that they were just going to flee and go right away through the holes into the next section, just trying to escape this strange device. But none of them have, and it's been several days. That's why I let it sit. I wanted to see if it was going to actually work or not. Now, I've been looking around, and the worms have done a pretty good job of hiding. Let me see if I can tip this up. Let's see. Of course, because it's light on all sides, they're gonna hunker down in the center. Sorry, I'm looking without the camera and I'm moving it all around. So they're kind of hunkered down in the center. I'll show you inside, just show you the size of the worms. Because I'm going to, every now and then as this actually makes some progress, I'm going to do an update on it. Now let me take the top off and we'll look down inside. Let me turn this top over so I can actually take out a little of the material, and we'll look at some of the worms here. So, okay, now you can see some coming out right there. So that's about, I think that's about the biggest that are in here, and the rest are like brand new. They're actually just a bunch of cocoons that just hatched. And there's a good amount in here. Here, let me set this little piece aside. Let me just reach my hand down in here. Let's see, where are y'all hiding? Okay, you can see a couple more. Looks like they've already gotten into the spinach. They must all be at the bottom. They can't, they didn't get out. That I'm positive of. Oh yeah, they're going to be down the bottom. I put some really rich, almost, what do you call it, humus. You know, these decaying leaves. So they're in heaven in that. Dig down a little bit deeper here just to show you initially what's in here. Okay, my worms are, well, there's another little guy. Let's see. Oh, I'm making a mess. I probably should have done this as I set it up, huh? I put in like a piece of this really squishy log because I know how much they like this, and they can hide in it. I figure they're probably going to do most of their moving around and dining at night when it's dark. Oh, look, here we go. So, yeah, they're down here in this grass. Of course, right? It's Indian blue worms and its roots. So you can see them all here. All right, I'm going to rearrange this now. Uh-oh, there's a little guy trying to... Well, I don't think he's trying to. I think I dropped it there. So that's what this is going to be. And what I hope to do is, or what I hope the outcome is, that as they really eat away at this, you know, it becomes compressed enough where we'll be able to see the worm ball from one of these sides anyway. Uh-oh, I dropped one out. See, like right down here, now you can see some of them on the inside because I move stuff around. So I'm hoping they get over the shyness, and that'll be part of the experiment to get used to the light. And they don't really have a choice. I'm going to keep the other ones completely empty. I did drop some leaves in there just now, but I'll clean it out. And I'm sure they're going to eat. I have no doubt about that because they're Indian blue worms. And it'll be fun because, you know, they like I said, I was afraid they were going to move into the center section, just fleeing this odd device with full light and clear sides. But they haven't, so clearly they're going to stay in there, which means they're going to eat. And that eventually this is going to become pure compost. And, you know, we will load the middle chamber and eventually the last chamber and go back to harvest the first. So it's like a mini horizontal three section horizontal migration bin of a very small scale. I mean, it's only, I would say this is each section is 4 inches by 4 inches, I would say. So that's it. No need to go on anymore. I'm going to pack all this back in there, all their yummy stuff. And, you know, there are some worms in this grass here, too. Of course, because it's grass. See some little ones. So I put really small worms in here. And, well, you know, we can watch them grow. There aren't any of breeding age. When we see cocoons, finally we'll know that they've grown that big. And you can look for updates. So like this video. If you do, share my channel if you would. Subscribe if you haven't. And the only thing I require of you is to have an awesome day. Take care.